Hello, welcome to Inside Politics. I'm Anastasia Lavrina. Today we're tackling a highly debated topic, the recent decision by the International Criminal Court to issue arrest warrants for Israel's Prime Minister and former Defense Minister, as well as the military commander of Hamas. With diverse perspectives on the table, we will explore the significance of this ruling, its implications for international justice, and how it could reshape political and legal landscapes globally. We'll have the experts from Israel, Turkey, and the United States of America. Joining me now is Mikhail Finkel, political scientist, expert on international relations. So, Mikhail, how significant is the ICC's decision to issue arrest warrants for Netanyahu, Gallant, and Dev in terms of international law and justice?
Well, first of all, ICC is not a real court. Its jurisdiction is not recognized by the United States, not recognized by Russia, not recognized by China, not recognized by India, not recognized by Israel, not recognized by Azerbaijan, your honorable country, and not recognized by many, many other countries. So hence what we lack here is universal jurisdiction. It's just simply not there. Now, I knew that magic exists, but to be able to issue a warrant for an arrest of a dead Mohammed Deif, this is something really spectacular. He is dead, which is genetically proven by Israeli army and by the Israeli security services. We have his DNA. He is dead long ago, since July of 2024. So this is point number one. Point number two, while the warrant is issued in the last weeks of the presidency of President Biden, Democrats, and the global lefties elites, which have placed as justices in the court. What's going to happen in a few weeks? Mr. Trump's going to come to power. He's going to make a few telephone calls. And what's going to happen next is the main sponsors of the court will telephone the court and the justices, and they're going to tell them, well, if you won't stop this nonsense, you won't get the funds. What's going to happen next is the justices will review the warrants, and they'll inevitably find their major mistakes, and they'll cancel the warrants. Regarding the destiny of the prosecutor Khan, who is a radical Muslim but concealing it, who is a sympathizer of Islamists, and who, as our intelligence suspects, has been promised to receive lump sums of money for what he has done, his destiny will not be as simple. United States and we in Israel have compromised on him, and his destiny as a chief prosecutor will not be without clouds. So I don't envy him. I think that he will pay for what he's doing.
Well, what are the potential legal and political implications of these warrants for Israel, Hamas, and the ICC member states?
Well, what this court is doing, it's practicing moral relativity. It has placed a terrorist organization, a bloody terrorist organization, Hamas, that is in the blood of civilians up until their elbows and neck, on the same level with Israel, a victim of October 7th attack. So nothing could be worse than this. This is the same thing essentially as saying that Hitler is as bad as those countries whom he attacked. This is disgusting. This is paid for. We know who ordered this. We know who pays for this. And this was a very wrong choice by Mr. Khan. Mr. Khan will lose in a big way. And all those who help him, and all those who aid him, and all those who abet him, they'll lose and they'll be humiliated.
Mikhail, how might this decision affect Israel's diplomatic relations, especially with European countries and other ICC member states?
Well, it's very simple. The leftist elites that sympathize with the actions of ICC, they will now start singing a different song. We already saw that. Trump is about to assume presidency. They're going to change their attitude very rapidly. Nothing will happen. It will not affect Israel at all. We fought terrorism, we will fight terrorism, and we'll destroy all of our enemies. And these so-called courts who put on the same level terrorists and the fighters against terrorists, they will lose. So it's going to affect the destiny of ICC, not the destiny of Israel.
Well, Turkey welcomed an International Criminal Court arrest warrants Thursday for Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant for their actions in the Gaza Strip. Given the ICC's decision to issue arrest warrants for Israeli leaders, how do you view this development in the context of international justice?
Well, I think it is quite interesting that now Netanyahu, who is the Prime Minister of Israel, which was established by the Jews who were subjected to a horrible crime in Europe in the Second World War and genocide. And now the representative of this state, the Prime Minister, is accused of genocide. And I think this is a quite interesting and a turning point in the history of, especially in the history of Israel.
And how does Turkey view the ICC's role in addressing alleged war crimes in the context of the Israel-Hamas conflict?
Of course, allegations are quite serious, and also we can see it from media what is happening in Gaza, in Palestine. It is beyond the imagination, and genocide is happening there, and all the laws of international law and war has been not really respected there by Israel. And now there is this case, and I think this puts the Prime Minister Netanyahu in the same line with Ratko Mladic, Milosevic of Serbia, even we can say Hitler, in a sense. Of course, Hitler has done horrible crimes and millions of Jews have been killed, but the Holocaust or the genocide is not really in numbers. It's in essence, according to international law, the genocide doesn't really require that a certain amount of people should be killed. Genocide is a systematic termination of a population, and ethnic cleansing and other practices are recognized as a genocide in the international law. So I think this is a quite big shame on Netanyahu's side.
So, since its creation, the International Criminal Court has been at the heart of some of the oldest and most complex debates. What is the legal consequences for Israeli Prime Minister it may have?
This court has been recognized more than 125 countries in the world, and he will have a difficult time to travel internationally to different countries. Maybe some countries won't really apply this court ruling and arrest Netanyahu, but he will have a difficult time. For most countries, he won't be able to travel there. So, and that, of course, makes Netanyahu some kind of a pariah, statesman in the international system. So that's one point, I think, and the court case, of course, will continue, and unless he is arrested and go to court and face the charges, this court ruling, arrest warrant, will stay there forever. Until he dies, for instance. So it will be a big problem for Netanyahu's future career, and it will be a stain on the state of Israel's future and history.
U.S. President Joe Biden calls the issuing of warrants against Israeli officials, including Benjamin Netanyahu, outrageous. Let's talk more on this issue with Nurit Gringer, political expert, international journalist, joining from the United States of America. Nurit, how might the ICC's warrants impact U.S. efforts to mediate in the Israel-Hamas conflict?
I don't think there is any mediation between the Israel and Gaza about the ICC, about as you're asking, the conflict. The Hamas is not going to, they want to continue the conflict. So any hopes that it's going to affect one way or another, this is irrelevant right now. But what I think, first of all, the American future government of Trump were very upset about it. And they're going to inflict, I'm sure, some kind of pressure or punishment on the ICC. Why did they do it? My opinion, the people who make the body of the ICC hate Israel, and they're very prejudiced about it. But the fact is that the ICC really doesn't care about justice.
Nurit, could this ruling influence US policy or public opinion regarding Israel's actions in Gaza?
I don't think the American public opinion as of now is very upset about it, or maybe not upset, but very angry. And as I said, they're going to react very strongly about it. And they've made very, very strong comments about it.
Nurit, what does the ICC's decision mean for the US stance on international law and accountability for allies?
America is not a member of the ICC. They don't recognize it. So by not recognizing, they really couldn't care what the ICC does or doesn't. At this point of time, because they don't belong and they don't see any relevance to it, we will have to come just to see what's going to happen after January 20th. And it's not going to be funny. It's going to be very detrimental to the ICC. Because what I read from senators in Congress, they're very unpleased with what happened. Okay, that's my opinion. So we just have to wait. But I personally don't see the ICC relevant to anything. They're just a bunch of people who just have taken power that doesn't belong to them. They're not doing the job that they need to do. And they're after Israel. They've been after Israel all the time. Why didn't they go after China that has murdered so many people? I mean, why didn't they go after Syria? Why didn't they go after anybody? Netanyahu, who is leading an existential war against people who murdered so many hundreds of Israelis? What is going on? Do we look for justice in the world, or this is a game played on the international arena?
Well, thank you so much for being with us. You watched Inside Politics. Stay with us and see you in the next edition.